Great. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Thank you everybody for being here. This is Delco Gives, what we're calling 201. So this session is designed for folks that participated last year. If you did not participate or you want kind of a refresher on the basics, we're having our 101 course tomorrow at the same time. So it's great to see so many folks that joined us last year, and we just want to start by thanking all of you for making our first year what it was. We are just so proud of the results and how much we all came together. It was this new thing. It was a lot. It was weird. It was, it sometimes could be somewhat confusing, the offline gifts, the online gifts. But we're just so grateful that all of you jumped on, and, we couldn't have been, like I said, more happy with the results, but that speaks to you. You all are the missions that people donated to. You are the reasons people gave. We're just the conduit. So kudos to all of you for making the first year so successful. Thank you again. A few quick housekeeping things. Please stay on mute for now. We are going to open it up for questions at the end. So we're going to do a little recap of 2024. We're going to ask some organizations to share their experience and give they're generous enough to share some of their pointers that we think will be helpful for you all as you plan for 2025. We'll do a quick glimpse into 2025, and then we'll open it up for questions. Before we do that, though, we at the foundation have a new member of our team that we want to introduce you to, Bilal Taylor. Bilal, if you want to just pop off a mute real quick and introduce yourself.
Yes, and it always jars me when I see the LinkedIn picture, but I do want to say good morning. I will be on my best behavior following Monica's advice, but I just want to welcome everyone in. My name is Bilal Taylor. I am the Associate Director, as you can see, the Center for Nonprofit Excellence. And for those whom Delco Gives is your first entree into sort of how we partner with the nonprofit community in Delaware County, the Center for Nonprofit Excellence is really here to help nonprofit organizations achieve your missions more efficiently. We know we would all do it for free if we could. We love our work, but we cannot. So for today's purposes, we'll talk about how we can connect with more donors. But the foundation works to have series of monthly learning opportunities, trainings, ongoing trainings such as board development, a nonprofit certificate through LaSalle University's Nonprofit Management Center, as well as peer learning circles and other ways that we keep sort of building, adding more arrows to your quiver or tools to the toolkit for nonprofits here in the county. So I'm excited that beyond the financial support, the back channel work we do, grant making, directly to organizations, that we can provide a range of services just to help make sure that nonprofits such as yourselves are able to do your work more efficiently and really support families and the entire Delaware County community. So I will not take any more air out of this meeting by talking about the center, other than to say you will be hearing from us both as a follow-up for this work and other opportunities. And we encourage you to use those opportunities. They're all free for nonprofits, and it's really just our interest in making sure that we have a thriving Delaware County where folks love to live, learn, and play. And we appreciate everything you do to support that. So I can't take any credit for last year. I was not here. I'm at about week 9, but I'm excited to partner with Monica and Laura this year. And I look forward to seeing all the wonderful things that'll happen for 2025.
Great. Thanks, Bilal. We're super excited to have him on the team. Also on the team with us is Monica Collins, our Chief Advancement Officer. You all should know her. She and I were leading the charge for Delco Gives 2024, and we'll be doing so again in 2025. So just a quick recap of 2024. Again, really excited about our results. I won't go into each of these, but I think a few of the really important metrics that we achieved is we saw that 85% of organizations got a new donor, right? That's the whole point of Delco Gives, or one of the points, is we want more people seeing what you all are doing. And if the average was 11 new donors, so these are new people now that you can cultivate and steward and get more invested in your mission. And so we are happy to see that, and we hope, of course, with all the numbers, that goes up next year. The median size of the donation was $30. So giving days are about expanding the idea of philanthropy. So the average size was 150, but the median size was 30, which is showing, there were ways for people to get involved without writing the big checks. And we think that's actually a really good metric is that it's showing that people felt like they could give even if they didn't have the ability, like I said, to make the really big donation. Other important metrics, we think that organizations that were able to have a match or a challenge, it showed. So and that's in that bottom right corner. $17,000 was the average raise by organizations that had a match or a challenge. So we'll talk again about tools and ways to get either your board involved or some of your loyal givers to provide a match or a challenge, because we did see that really made a big difference. And we know every organization is different, and some people have more folks that can do that. But as much as we can encourage that, we will. And then just the bonus pool, it ended up being, so the bonus pool, just as a refresher, was we raised a pot of money and then it was divided out by number of unique donors, right? So not based on donations, but based on donors. And the way the math shook out for 2024 was that every donor, every unique donor resulted in over $20 from the bonus pool. So that's a pretty good sprinkle on top of that donation. So somebody could have given you a $10 donation, and because of the way the bonus pool was structured, you got an extra $20. Now, obviously, that number is going to change for 2025 because it's based on how much we raise and how many donors there are. But I know going in, we didn't really know what it would look like. So that's our starting point for the number of for the bonus pool allocation. These slides are going to be shared with you. This was all shared with everybody in the nonprofit impact report. And again, we'll save time for questions at the end if you have any. Obviously, the bigger number is that $1.7 million that all went out to you all. And we're really excited about that. As we've talked about, giving days tend to grow year over year. This shows growth in other Pennsylvania counties in Erie and Lancaster. And just to give you a point of reference, Lancaster in year 10 was at $15.8 million. In year one, they were at 1.7. So we started where Lancaster is. We often reference Lancaster as our, North Star. So I'd love to see us emulate their growth. We're really excited about where we are and where this could lead. And we have some, we think, conservative estimates of where this could go. And again, this is all going back into the community. So really excited. And we'll say this ad nauseum. It's a testament to you all. It's a testament to your work and to your missions. People went on and gave to you. They didn't give to us. So thank you. And we're excited to see this continue to grow for you all. We issued a survey. Thank you to everybody who did it. We had 90 people respond, which was about a third. So pretty good response rate. Got some really good feedback. Pretty positive. There were some suggestions for improving it in years to come, which we have taken under advisement. We'll talk a little bit about some of the changes that we may be making for 2025. But we thank everybody for giving us that feedback. That's really the only way we can continue to make this better, right? We are doing our best to be in touch with what's happening on the ground, but you are the ones going through it and going on the website and reaching out and having the messaging. So your feedback is really, really important. So thank you to everybody who responded to the survey. But you can always just email us, pick up the phone. Like I said, we need your feedback in order to continually improve this. So that's a very high level glimpse at 2024. We have asked a few folks to just share their experience. These are folks who we think their organization was really able to optimize the potential for Delco Gives. So we're going to go through these speakers in order. Hopefully they were all able to make it this morning. Kristen, if you could just unmute yourself, we're going to ask them to just speak for a few minutes. And like I said, we'll go in order. So we'll go Kristen, Tom, Leah, and Erica. And if Kristen is on, if you could unmute and share.
Good morning. I'm dragging today. I don't know how everyone is feeling. I'm like, I am tired, and I'm not usually tired, but I'm tired today. So I'm coming. I'm trying to get myself together. But thanks, Laura, for the opportunity. So for my nonprofit, Help Educated, let's see.
There she is.
Gosh. Hey, I can't see myself, so I don't know if I look crazy or not. But anyway, I did not have a lot of time to put anything together. So what I'm telling you is just things that came up on May 6th. And I'm like, oh, Delco Gives Day is like in 2 days. And so, and I was talking to my board about it over the months, and we had some things that we were putting together, but it's just a lot. So when I was like, okay, it's time for me to act, I said I would make a LinkedIn post. So I made a LinkedIn post, and I just recorded a really short video, just telling my LinkedIn community about the work that we do. Well, they know because I'm posting about it here and there, and then asking them to give donations and providing the link. I went on Instagram. I did the same thing on Instagram, and then I also called a few people who own businesses and asked them if they would be willing to do a match. So the first organization I called, I asked them for $5,000, and she said, no, I'll do $2,500. So I said, I'll take it. And so I did get a couple of businesses to do a match, which really helped out a lot. And then I also sent out an email, just one email to my email listserv, um, asking people to send whatever they could. And that helped. And then I also did a telethon through one of the local podcast stations here where we brought in some speakers to talk about credit repair and weight loss and a few other topics that we generally deal with through Health Educated, which is my nonprofit. So we did a telethon for like an hour, and we would get, tell people to Cash App or Venmo or to send a donation. And then we set up a table at Rose Tree Park. So we knew we were doing that. And we may have gotten like $5 or $10 there, which was fine. And we also won a prize from the foundation because we had raised, I think we were one of the top nonprofits that had a lot of donors. So we didn't have big donors, but we had a lot of little donations, which really helped to drive our success. So I want to thank the foundation because I never even had a nonprofit, a fundraising strategy in mind until this. We do a lot of work in health equity and health disparity. So we get a good amount of grant funding, and I just thought I would sustain a nonprofit through the grant funding. But this really helped me to see that we need to diversify, and we can diversify our revenue. And so it was a nice kickoff, and our official first fundraiser was Delco Gives Day. So now I'm getting more donations, and it's been great. So thank you, and thanks for the opportunity. And I'm telling y'all, through this together. It was not a year long plan. It was me having to do something, and so I just did it. But thank you.
Cool. Thanks, Kristen. But if you plan, it probably
If you plan,
is
you will
also
do
if you can start earlier.
better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. And we know people are busy, and a lot of you probably were like Kristen, like, oh, it's May 5th. I should probably think about this Delco Gives Day. But hopefully with this year with a little bit more knowing what's coming, there's a little bit more runway time. Thanks, Kristen. Tom from St. Catherine Drexel
Yep.
Food Pantry, are you on? See Tom anywhere? All right, no worries. He's might be busy
I saw
doing.
Tom sign on, so well, let's move on. Yeah. Tom, are you sure you're not there?
Sorry, there's so many of you. We can't see everybody in one panel. Leah from
Yeah.
Helen Kate.
Hi, good morning. I'm Leah Kolakowski, the director at the Helen Gate Furnace Free Library. And once we heard about Delco Gives, and we were really all in. My board was all in. And so we jumped in and really started planning early. We actually changed around some of our fundraising strategy for the year to work in Delco Gives and to make it a focus because we were really excited about it. So we do an annual appeal mailing every year, and so part of what we did was we got our mailing out early in April, and we included an opt-in, opt-out on that mailing that I'm sure you can't see here, but we asked people if they wanted their gift to qualify for Delco Gives. And then we also gave them a way to opt out of that. So that was a big part of what we did in advance. So we had a significant portion of offline donations because we know that our donors already give, they write checks and they send them through the mail. And so we wanted to make sure that we still gave those donors an opportunity to participate, as well as giving, new donors and people who would be donating online during the 24-hour event a way to participate online. So we tried to meet donors where they were. And I think we had about 28,000 in offline donations in advance of the day, and then around 5,000 on the day of. And I should say we're a small nonprofit, so we're an under $500,000 budget, and I think that we came in first in nonprofits or small nonprofits, sorry. And so we were really proud of the work that we did, but it was a big, team effort from the board as well. So during the month of April, we held 4 different fundraising events, and we had 3 food truck nights at the library, out in our parking lot, and they were real community events. Lots of people came with their kids. We had games. We had food trucks, but then we also had a table where we had information about Delco Gives and signage, and we talked to everyone who attended and asked for a donation that evening from each person that came. And we really talked about the small donations, to the $10 minimum, and because we were really looking to increase the number of donors and the number of people who give to the library. So we did really focus on those small donations at those events. So we had the 3 food truck nights, and then we also had a jazz concert at the library after hours. That was our 4th one. So they were all on Friday nights, after hours. So they were special events that people came to. And we saw a lot of new people, and we did see new donors. And I think Delco Gives did get our name out there. So we saw new donors come in, or people contact us in new ways about supporting the library. And we also have seen repeat donations. So people gave earlier in the year during Delco Gives, and now we're seeing them give again later in the year. So where we may have, they may have already been a donor, but they may have given once during the year, we're starting to see that repeat donation this year. One of our board members did the live stream, which was exciting, and talked about the library and the programs that we're offering. And we did see donations go up during that period of time when she was on the live stream. Erin Stansel was talking about the library. And then we also utilized the marketing materials provided by the foundation. So those emails and graphics, those were all really helpful. So we included information about Delco Gives in our newsletter. We put out some social media posts, and then really encouraged our board to share those with their networks and ask them to include, a personal anecdote about what the library means to them, or, that they went to a story time with their children and how it's had an impact on their lives as they shared those emails and social media posts to expand our reach. And on the day of, we also did a special, email and some social media posts that went out. And just really, there was some excitement around the day, and we really encouraged everyone to participate. So we're looking forward to it again, and planning a little bit earlier as well.
Thanks, Leah.
And Leah, I think that I just wanted to jump in here. I think that's a great idea. So we're planning on having the live stream again this next year. And for those of you who participate, I think having a challenge for your donors and your boards and so your committee members to give during that hour as a sort of, get Ann to 10,000 or show your love or something like that is a really is a really nice incentive for people to give. The other thing that I did want to mention that came up when Lee was chatting is we will again have the nonprofit toolkit this year, and our communications team has been working really hard on developing a bunch of new assets for you, including for those of you who use Canva, Canva files where you can personalize all of these different assets with your branding. So I think that'll be really nice to have that sort of plug and play material for you to use.
Great. Thanks, Leah. And I like what you said about meeting your donors where they are, right? So that I think like taking it, okay, these are check writers. How do we take Delco Gives and make it applicable for people who are much more likely to write a check than they are to go online? So that's great information. Thanks so much. And then Erica, if you wouldn't mind, Erica Siegfried from the Walden School, just sharing a little bit about your experience.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. I'm from the Walden School. We're on North Providence Road. We go from preschool to fifth grade. We have full day kindergarten too. But I was really excited to do Delco Gives Day. I heard about it around this time last year, and Monica and Laura, I think you guys did a wonderful job educating us, giving us the tools, the ideas, and just being in constant communication. So I really appreciate it as an organization to participate. So the Walden School, we're really lucky because for 17 years, we've done a fundraising gala during the month of April. And so last year it was at the end of April, and we start marketing for that event in January. And so right off the bat, we had said anyone who supports the Walden School during our spring gala, the month of April, we can count your participation as a unique donor if you want to tack on an extra $10 to participate in Delco Gives. We didn't actually give people the opportunity to opt out of that. The $10 additional price was like padded in to the ticket price, which really helped us. And then I had just told every single person I knew at the school, on our board, parents, the middle schoolers here last year, that, we're participating in this and it's only $10. And I used the stretch pool as a lot of leverage to make that happen. We have like 30 faculty on staff, and faculty participation in the annual fund has always been rather low. We got almost 100% participation from our faculty last year, incentivizing them to use the reason to give as Delco Gives because it helps us to get more money out of the stretch pool. I dedicated the 2 days of Delco Gives last year to sending text messages, sending emails, making personal phone calls. I was just on the platform working my little tail off trying to get every single additional donor gift that we could. I made a video about it. I just kept saying, if you participate in any way with our auction, if you purchase an auction item or bid on an auction item and you win it, we want to tack $10 onto that so it can go towards Delco Gives. If you want to, I'm sorry, I'm just in like a common area and there's so many people coming in. If you, want to ask like your brother or your sister to give $10, it's all about the number of unique donors that adds to it. I also won a prize last year because we had a certain number of donors give during a certain window of time. So I would really pay attention to the timing of the day. And it just happens. It was like serendipitous. It was completely random that we won. But a lot of people just decided to make a gift at the 1 o'clock hour, maybe during their lunch break, is when it came about. So I'm excited to do it again. One thing I didn't take advantage of was setting up a table in Rose Tree Park. I think that as an organization in Delaware County, like the people who participated, I think they said there were 282 organizations that signed up last year. Like you're in really good company to be a part of that group. So I would highly recommend claiming your table space at Rose Tree if that's where the celebration is again, setting up your booth, doing your 10 or whatever it's going to be, because it's really great PR to be there and participate in it. And I'm just so thrilled to do it again. And the school ended up getting, several $1,000s out of the stretch pool in addition to the gifts that were made that day. So just thank you to the Delaware County Community Foundation. And I hope that everyone, has success. And I can be a resource too, if anyone has questions or ideas or wants to idea share from, an nonprofit organization perspective. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Erica.
Thanks, Erica. And I would say that, if you can, I would encourage, I want to just double down on what Erica said. I would encourage you to go to our Rose Tree celebration. We're planning that again this year. We're making a real concerted effort to get more community members and businesses and their employees to attend that event. So that'll be a nice, not only, chance to talk with potential donors, potential board members, but also what I loved last year was everyone just networking with each other and making those connections with the different organizations that are working in our community. So that it was just a really good feeling across the board. So, and, you know, we're making a change from last year. We are no longer doing table assignments because that was not good at all. It was a mess, but we're going to be doing first
As
come,
the
first serve.
person who insisted on and spent a lot of time on the table assignments, I might push back on that. But no, we didn't know if it would be more chaotic to have table assignments or just have people running free. But we'll talk about what's going to be different at Rose Tree Park this year too.
Yeah.
Monica, I didn't mean to cut you off. I had to stand up for my table assignment.
And it looks like Tom is trying to get on the call. He's here, but he's having trouble with his camera. Another group that we actually have here who did a really wonderful job is Tyler Arboretum, and they have very graciously agreed to share their story and what they did. Sarah, are you on?
Yes, I'm on.
Hi, Sarah. Thank you.
Hi, thanks, Monica. I'm going to speak for my team who did a fabulous job with Delco Gives before I was actually at the Tyler Arboretum. And I'll try not to be too redundant because a lot of the other nonprofits who spoke had really great tips and tricks. So I'll try to emphasize the things that we did that haven't been mentioned so far. One thing we did was we tied our Delco Gives fundraiser to our spring appeal that was generally around the same time of the year. But what we did is we put a mission component to it, which I think was really effective. So Delco Gives fundraising was tied to the reopening of our hiking trails, which had been closed due to hazardous trees with an invasive beetle that was wreaking havoc on ash trees last year. So it was really a mission oriented, more money we raise, the more miles of trails we can open. And I think that really inspired people to give to us. So I think that was really creative. We did not throw a specific Delco Gives event, but other Tyler Arboretum events leading up to Delco Gives, we marketed Delco Gives very, very strongly. So we had a bookmark that we were handing out at other things we were doing, like our annual plant sale, and we had them at the Arboretum for our guests, and lots of yard signs promoting Delco Gives around our nonprofit so that guests visiting were very, very aware of Delco Gives and that we were involved. And the last thing I really want to emphasize is that we got the peer-to-peer fundraising piece up and running and really tried to provide our board members, our staff members, our volunteers, our lead donors with everything they needed to very easily use peer-to-peer fundraising to try to get their network to donate, at least $10. So we focused on the number of individual donors, to set our internal goals, but our marketing team specifically provided email verbiage supported by, our board president was sending out email verbiage with photos, with links. So we really put together a package of peer-to-peer marketing that our board and staff could easily post to their social media, could easily forward along to their friends and family and their networks. And we think that really made a big difference with inspiring other people to give. And I think that's a really great opportunity too, for those of us who have board members, staff members, folks that say, I don't know rich people. I don't know people who have a ton of money. I can't, get you these huge donations. But what you can do is forward that email you get, post that social media post with this photo and ask your network, hey, can you just participate in Delco Gives and support the organization in that way? And, we can all do the math on how many donors it takes to get a really big amount of money. So those things were really, really successful. And I think the pre-planning and the legwork it took to put together that verbiage with those photos that could easily be posted and forwarded along. Advertising Delco Gives and our participation at our other events leading up to the day really made the difference for us.
Great. Thanks, Sarah. And actually, I'm glad you mentioned peer-to-peer. We're going to talk about that because there's a way to do it through GiveGab, through the system, that we're kicking around. People express some interest in doing that for this year. It's on the table. So thank you for that. It's very helpful. And I think the theme is, yeah, the more you can give your stakeholders, your board, your supporters, very specific, concrete things to do, the more effective it's going to be. So there he is. We got Tom, our last organization to just share a little bit, and then we'll open the floor. Thanks, Tom, for
Yeah,
finding a way.
I'm so sorry. I guess I have a really old device and it's just not compatible. I don't know. But at least you can hear me, I hope.
And we can see you.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. All right. That's good. All right. I can't see myself even. So I think this worked out better. Listening to all the other tremendous nonprofits and the support they had and the way that they approached this all really humbles me to how much we were able to be successful in the amount that we raised for the food pantry, because I was completely grassroots. When I saw the information about it last year, kind of hesitant about what is it. There's actually nobody in our organization that has done any fundraising for the food pantry. So I kind of just tackled it on my own, got permission from the pastor. He's like, all right, go for it. I was very hesitant even in the beginning. $100 to sign on and be a part of this. Am I going to get an ROI on that? It was just very grassroots for us. So we worked very hard to just keep the event in front of everybody's eyeballs. I was kind of totally solo. We have no board of directors. Pantry director is overwhelmed with trying to get food at the door and do all the reporting to Phil Abundance, et cetera. So I truly was solo with that. So I just took the opportunities that were given to us through the foundation and ran with it, pretty much. It's just very rewarding and fulfilling that we were able to do what we did. I'm looking forward to trying to be a little bit more tech savvy this year. Again, it was kind of by myself, and everybody had to figure out how to do it going through it. So I'm very humbled. Pretty much what I can say. We were good to. I ran over, got a lot of the lawn signs, and we gave them to our volunteers to kind of spread out all over Delaware County, just to keep the name recognition about the event as forefront as we could. I was trying to be very active on Facebook. We don't have an Instagram account, so that people were active on it. That was kind of just my approach, was to let as many people as we could know. I feel one of the successes when I built the profile was I did try and make it relative, exactly like you suggested, Laura. Your donation is going to buy this $10 donation is going to buy Heminy mac and cheese for a household. And so I hoped that was relative to what people could truly cognitively feel that they were giving and buying to help the food pantry. And, hopefully that met with some success. So I'm not sure how we topped last year, but I'm going to try.
Great. No, I think that's a really good point you brought up. When you set in your profile your giving levels, the more concrete you can be, and people in development, probably this is, things you've heard, the more concrete you can be about what their donation does, I think the more you're going to drive those donations. And I want to give Tom and his team won the PHL 17 PSA challenge. And it was, and I mean this in the best way, it was a grassroots video. It was not slick, but it was very clever and well done and showed the heart of the work you all do at the pantry. And I'm assuming we're going to do that again this year. One of the things people asked about was getting more information about it sooner. So stay tuned for that. I would encourage you all to do the PSA, because even if you don't win, you don't get chosen to go on air, it's a really great tool for you to have for your own marketing outside of Delco Gives. Like, it's a really great opportunity to think about some of your branding. So kudos to Tom and his team to putting together a really wonderful PSA. There were a ton of great videos, but I think the the grassroots nature of it, I think is honestly what put you over the top.
Yeah, and
Well,
actually,
that's great to hear, right? Because I was very concerned about comparatively to some of the professional PSAs. I was like, oh boy, we don't stand a chance. But we spoke from the heart.
Right.
And that's why I chose to include the volunteers. And you can see how nervous they were, very apparently. So, again, I hope that people related to that and connected with the fact that everybody that's volunteering for the pantry is there because we're trying to make a difference and help the community,
I think it came through for sure.
yeah,
Yay.
and I wanted to jump in here because we are doing the PSA again. So PHL 17 has already reached out. They want to do it. They thought it was a great success. So, start thinking about your videos now to submit. And they don't have to be, they don't have to be professional videos. It's really, as Tom said, speaking from the heart. I did also want to just point out a couple things that I've heard here and also give credit to who's on the call, Kirsten Appler from Natural Lands. So they not only use the Delco Gives Day yard signs that we had and will have again, but they created their own marketing campaign with their own signage on their properties that was just really clever. And I think they've made T-shirts out of their campaign going forward. But, uh, give to natural lands and protect the water sort of thing. And it was very, very clever that I think people really liked. So, for those of you who have property, some sort of physical location, not only come by, we're going to have the yard signs available, grab those yard signs, put them up, make people aware of the day well in advance, but also maybe think about doing something clever like natural lands that really speak to your own mission. And then, Sarah mentioned the verbiage for Delco Gives in those packets that you can send out to your board and your volunteers. We, the foundation, did the same thing just to make people aware of Delco Gives. And so much of that language, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel, is in that nonprofit toolkit. So you can really take what's there, make it your own, give it your own spin, and send that to your board members. So it's, we don't want you to start from scratch, but really like take what we have, make it your own, and then use. So, oh, and then before we move on, Laura, did you want to mention a little bit? So this is our second Delco Gives 201 session. We had some other speakers at the first one, and there were some great ideas that came out of that one that maybe we want to touch upon. For example, the Radnor Library did a textathon, which was a really great idea. And then Drexel Newman also had a really wonderful.
Yeah. So at the Radnor Library, and somebody else mentioned this, like the prizes, right? So we announce the prizes ahead of time. I would encourage you to pick up, some of them are random, but some of them are incentive based, right? Or competitive. So if you get the most donations at this time, so the Radnor Library, there was one that was the first to 20. So they had a plan. We're going to get that prize. They had their board members come. They did wine and cheese, and their board members texted everybody they knew and said, it's 7 o'clock, go on and donate. And it was successful. And so a very, like I said before, as much as you can be very specific in your ask and very concrete and give people something, that's really tangible that they can do. So that was a really good strategy. Again, I would encourage you to look at the prizes ahead of time and maybe try and, find one or two that you think you can really have a shot at. Drexel Newman, and this is, not everybody has the same opportunity, but their school. So they did a walk around the track for Delco Gives. Families paid $10. They got to walk around the track. But as we talked about, the bonus pool is meted out by number of donations. So I think they had like 300 people come walk around the track. So these are now 300 donations. And as I said, each donation was $20. So, strategizing. And I think the theme is knowing what all the ideas that were talked about aren't going to work for every organization here, right? Like some people don't have 300 people walking in the door, but you might have a board that can sit and text. So I think the overarching theme is know your stakeholders, know your audience, and there are ways to be engaged in a way that I think can really maximize that. So we're going to move on to talk about 2025. But before we do that, does anybody else have anything they want to share about what worked well for them in 2024? You can just raise your hand. I see Megan. Megan, you just came off mute. I don't know if you meant to, but if you wanted to share, and if you could just raise your hand and Monica will go through and call on folks. Nope. Accidental. Anybody? Monica, are you searching through? Everybody's keeping their great ideas to themselves, which is fine.
I am. I am. Yeah, but I just love that idea of,
One more time,
oh,
please.
Oh, we have just
go ahead.
No, I was asking, could you ask the question one more time? It went out a little bit for
Oh,
me.
I'm sorry. If anybody just has anything that they saw that worked well in 2024, that they want before we talk about 2025 and answer questions, anything that worked well for your group that you might want to share.
Well, I could share. We did a walkathon. So to get people like fit in the springtime, just people that wanted to walk or run just 1 mile, you would get your family and friends to sponsor you to walk. So whether you wanted to walk or just sponsor somebody, minimum $10 to sponsor somebody to walk, and then they would get prizes based on how many donors they got to sponsor them and then who completed the mile first or who was willing to do an extra mile. So that was really how we monetized off of the amount of donors, since that seemed to be the way to get the most people to donate in a small quantity.
Great. That's a great, yeah. I mean, volume, right? It was definitely for the bonus pool about volume.
Yeah, and I actually think that's a great idea for Natural Lands or Tyler because they have defined trails. So if you complete X defined trail, you can have your family and friends donate, some amount of money to you.
All right.
All right.
So we are going to move on. And again, we'll have time for questions at the end. We're just going to quickly talk about 2025. So what's new? The basic model is going to be the same. The dates are actually the same, May 8th to May 9th, but this year it's a Thursday to a Friday. So we're going to see how this goes. One of the big driving forces for doing that is we really want this closing celebration at Rose Tree Park to be a bigger draw to the general audience, right? So we're going to have it on a Friday afternoon into the evening. We're going to try to have beer, which isn't something that Rose Tree Park often does, but we're going to see if we can make that work. And hopefully the mascots will be there again. We have some other ideas for events during the day that will funnel people into the closing celebration. So we really want that to be, it was awesome to have so many nonprofits. But we want more people there, and that was some of the feedback that was shared. Is we really want the population at large to be part of it and to donate, of course, but also just to see all the good work that you all are doing. So that's a change, and we'll see how it goes. Every year we're going to learn and try to get better for next year, and it might be that Wednesday into Thursday was better, but again, we'll see, and we'll go from there. And then the other change is we're just having a new registration tier and fee for very small organizations. We did get some feedback that for, very, very small organizations, even $100 is a significant challenge. So there'll be a registration tier there. I believe if you're under 50,000, it'll be $50. Some things that were talked about at the first 201 session is peer-to-peer. And I might just ask people in the chat. So GiveGab has the option to do peer-to-peer through their website. We didn't do it the first year because just getting this off the ground was enough. Getting people to learn what this was enough. And we originally were not planning on doing it for this year, just because we wanted another year under our belt before introducing a new element. At the first session, the organization seemed pretty eager to have a peer-to-peer through the system. So peer-to-peer being, people sign up to be, fundraisers for your organization, and then they go out and contact the people they know. So if you wouldn't mind just putting in the chat if peer-to-peer would be something you all would be interested in. This is a very unscientific poll, and might not be what we end up doing, but we are curious as to your feedback on that.
Yeah, and it would be optional. So,
Right.
if your
Yep.
organization didn't want to do peer-to-peer. You wouldn't be forced to do it. It's just sort of, if you do want to do it, then would you like the opportunity?
Yep. Thank you for clarifying. The other thing that came up, and I'm sure this will resonate, is opening the portal earlier. So offline gift window will again be April 1 to May 9th. And we ended up opening the offline, or not the offline gifts, so window a little early on the 8th, but people were interested in like, hey, can we just open it April 1? Can people just go on and give? That way we don't have to track offline gifts and then input them. We can just direct people to the website starting April 1st. There are definitely obviously advantages to that. The flip side is you kind of lose a sense of urgency and specialness a little bit if it's open for 6 weeks as opposed to, 24 hours. So again, if you would just put in the chat, is that something you feel strongly about? Is that something you think would be helpful? Is if people go to delcogives.org starting April 1 and donate to your organization. And that would be all or nothing, right? So if we decide to do it, it'll be open for every organization because we can't really single out organizations.
But the prizes would only be during the 24 hours. So that May 8th to May 9th is when we would award the prizes. Right. But the portal to donate would be open from April 1st, probably a little bit after May 9th.
Yep. Thank you for clarifying that. So we'll see. I mean, again, as I said about the dates, we're trying to learn every year and find just the right fit for that. So we haven't made that decision, but obviously your feedback is very important as we consider it. So those are the things that are kind of in process for being determined, and we'll let you know as soon as we know.
No, Laura, can
Yes.
I just say really quickly, just having a chance to look at the chat, I really want to appreciate the range of responses and that folks that are really eager to do some of this, maybe a little bit more tentative and hesitant. I think that bodes well for the relationship we're building here because again, it's not one size fits all, right? And it's not, oh, everything we say is great. Like some folks are saying yes, some will say they want to learn more. So I just appreciate the I don't want to say camaraderie, but I just appreciate the open communication that I'm feeling from the groups here. And I hope that's not out of turn to say, but I just
No,
appreciate a chat like that. It speaks volumes.
No, I agree. And as I've said, and will continue to say, your feedback is going to drive what this looks like. So we hope that we have an open door and that you all, feel comfortable giving us positive and constructive feedback along the way for sure. So thanks, Bilal. And if you could, I haven't been looking at the chat. Honestly, we're going to open the floor for questions, but make sure I didn't miss anything if you don't mind.
Yeah, and I would just point out that if we did open the portal early, it would be marketed a little bit different, where it would be early giving is April 1 through May 8th, and then Delco Gives giving would be 8th and 9th. So there's a slight nuance there. I also did, this popped into my head, but when Laura was talking about the end celebration, and I'm sorry to jump backwards, you know, for those of you who just do not have the capacity to have your own event or do a lot with Delco Gives, using that end celebration to engage your board and maybe your committee members, for example, like everybody show up, show your love for your organization. Maybe you can get t-shirts that say, ask me about, the Kate Furness Library, or, I love libraries, or something like that, that really show some sort of camaraderie, if even not for donations, but just, exciting your board members, giving them something to do, and, making them feel like they're in it together for your organization, I think is always really wonderful, because, board meetings are not the most exciting events to bring people together around. And so this is really something that, is a collective effort that they can feel part of. So
yeah, and I think somebody touched on it, maybe Leah or somebody touched on it. Being part of this, I also think, not to pat ourselves on the back, gives cachet to your organization, right? You are in company of some really, really phenomenal groups, and we think that will just lift up, your own organization's profile, and hopefully fundraising.
And Gritty and the Fanatic, for better or worse,
who hopefully will be there. We're not confirmed yet, but we're got those irons in the fire. So that's what's new for 2025. Super quickly, the eligibility, I'm not going to go through this again, same as last year. So hopefully you still have your 501c3 status, same requirements. Timeline is also generally the same. So registration will open on January 6th. We heard from GiveGab, and I welcome your feedback if this is not the case, is if you log into your account, there should be register for Delco starting on January 6th. The registration link should populate somewhere in your profile. If not, you can just go to delcogives.org and hit register. But I think they updated the system, whereas you kind of will have that kind of visible in your profile. So you do still need to register again. You will be able to, however, just copy over your profile from last year. So there's an option to copy it over so you don't have to start from scratch. Obviously, update, make better if possible. So that opens January 6th, closes April 18th. We will have training sessions again. We are nailing down the dates on those and we'll get them out to you as soon as we can. Obviously, all virtual ones will record. So if you can't make the actual session, we'll have it available. And yeah, the kind of the same timeline. It says online giving from 7 to 7. Those are the prizes, and then kind of TBD for when we open delcogives.org. So that is the bulk of it. Again, we'll open the floor for questions if you want to just raise your hand. I prefer if you don't do it in the chat, just because there's a lot in the chat and we might miss it. But if you wouldn't mind, or you can always email me. But any questions, any suggestions, anything we missed?
I don't know if Luke, if you wanted to raise your question.
Thanks, Will.
Yeah, so we're a provider in Montgomery, Bucks, and Delaware County. We used the platform last year just to raise funds for our Delaware County location. Worked great. I mean, we raised our $15,000, which was huge for us. Just wanted to get a sense of the willingness of the foundation to partner with us to use the platform and expand it to our other locations, since we, span 3 different counties. I see the power in using a giving day for the work that we do as an IDA provider, but want to get a sense of what your appetite might be.
So you're outside of Delco Gives or using Delco Gives for your other operations?
I would say using the platform, the technology platform that you all provide, for Delco Gives, and publicizing that to our donors who may, have children that go to our Bucks or Montgomery County locations.
I think, and, feel free to push back Laura Bilal on this, you have to serve Delaware County, but I think you should stretch this out to the broadest base of potential donors that you can. So if they have children in Bucks or Montgomery, but are willing to give to you and your operations, because otherwise it might be a bit parsing that out. That's entirely fine. It's really, you have to serve Delaware County, provide a benefit to our county, but, use the broadest umbrella you can to incentivize donations.
I agree with that.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that, because we did definitely get some pushback from donors in other geographies who were like, well, why are you doing this just for Delaware County? And I was new to the organization, and this was something that would be new to Peaceful Living. So, we kind of ran it as a test in our Delaware County market, which we knew we had some confidence that would work well there. So hearing this is great. Thank you so much.
Great.
Susan Borders asked, what time will the Rose Tree event start on May 9th? That's a TBD. My guess is that's going to be something like last year, which setup was what, 3:30? And then the event
shorter. I maybe later. It's TBD. So, yeah. But afternoon, ending at 7 o'clock, where we'll hold up signs, me with my upside down comma, and announce the final total. Kate, sample.
Do my audio. Thank you. I'm sorry. I wanted to hop in on, and I didn't get his name, who was just talking about they're in other counties, and only because I want to share, I can relate. We're an organization 48 years. We've been in existence. We were founded in Philadelphia. We have a Delaware County all-volunteer chapter that's been operating since the beginning. But yet our unique mission makes it that we cannot say no to a child who's not in our area. So we help children all over the US because we have a unique mission. No other wish granting organization would help them. So we have children in Delaware County, and that's what we try to focus on the fundraising for those particular children, and specifically to make their dream come true, because our families have limited income. So we're, in that area of grabbing Brookhaven and those areas. So that's why we value the Delco Gives. And so we try to strategize, like the previous gentleman said, kind of focusing on that area and the need in Delaware County. So, I just wanted to share that with you. You're not the only organization that's kind of in other areas. It's needs that wants to take, show appreciation and take advantage of this great opportunity. And thank you, Monica and Laura. It's wonderful.
Oh,
Thank you.
thanks,
Thanks for
Kate.
sharing that, Kate.
And I would say that, much as we did last year and we will continue to do this year, we'll structure gifts not only by number of unique donors, like first to 20 sort of thing, but we do try to recognize that there's a big disparity between organizations that have $10 million budgets and huge numbers of donors and very grassroots organizations that are volunteer only. And so, we'll have prize categories for different size organizations. So there's always a chance to win. And in fact, I do want to point out that, we got the data back from Delco Gives, and, in terms of prizes, the smallest nonprofits did the best. So in terms of number of prizes, so surprising, but
All right, we are happy to stick. Any other burning questions? Monica and I can stick around for a few minutes if anybody wants to ask. If you're feeling shy and you didn't want to do it in front of the group. In terms of next steps, like I said, registration opens January 6th. You'll be getting plenty of emails from me again. Look forward to that. I'm going to be doing office hours again. I would encourage you to take advantage of that. I had kind of a standing Zoom weekly on Wednesdays. We'll send that information out. Please take advantage of it. I will say that the few people that did come we were able to strategize in a way that I think was impactful for them. So I'll be here. We'll have the graphics, the toolkit, everything in January will be kind of ready to launch. But in the meantime, obviously, you can reach out to me with any questions. Like I said, we'll stick around for a couple minutes if anybody wants to ask anything. But hope you all have happy holidays. Thank you again for making the first year so successful, and we're looking forward to doing it even better in 2025. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Thanks. Happy holidays.